As we know, South Korea is a beautiful country located in Eastern Asia, home to the wonderful entity that is K-pop and some of our favourite TV shows. Korea is also widely known for its picturesque settings such as its cherry blossoms and century-old temples. But apart from these obvious reasons, I'm here today to tell you why you should study abroad in Korea. Let's go! If you are looking to do a college exchange where you can have a good time and let loose a little, well, Korea is the right place for you. Korea, first of all, has an absolute super nightlife scene. There's some amazing restaurants, bars, clubs and cafes that cater to any taste whatsoever, so there's something for everybody in Seoul in particular. These nights out will not only be extremely enjoyable, but also really affordable. Alcohol in particular, for those of you who like to party, is very cheap in Korea. You can literally get a bottle of soju in any supermarket or 7-Eleven for literally €2, which is like $2. So it is crazy, and these things are like 12%, so it's like getting a pretty strong bottle of wine for like €2, which is absolutely crazy to me, because in Ireland, alcohol is pretty expensive with our taxes. If you do go to nightclubs, the drinks can be a little bit more expensive, so just be careful of that. They might overcharge, especially in the big clubs like Octagon. However, a way to get around this is it's actually legal to drink on the streets in Korea. So it's absolutely crazy. So a lot of people actually do their pre-gaming or pre-drinking on the street before they go into the clubs, which is absolutely so cool. So you can have some very cheap nights out in Korea. The next thing I have to talk about is the food. It's safe to say in Korea you won't be spending much time in the kitchen. When I moved to Korea, I thought I would maybe even improve my cooking skills and get to cook up a few meals for myself. However, in reality, I think I cooked maybe 4 or 5 times the whole time I was in Korea, and I was in Korea for 6 months. It's honestly cheaper and more convenient just to eat out. It is so affordable. You could literally eat like a king for $10 a day. And there was even some places where you could get all you could eat Korean barbecue for like literally like $10. It was absolutely crazy. The food is absolutely exquisite. If you've never tried Korean food, I would definitely recommend giving it a try even before you go over, just to see if you like it. Even on campus, on the college campus, I went to SNU, Seoul National University. The food there was so cheap in the canteen and so delicious. Maybe 3,000 won, which is the equivalent of maybe $2, €2, and you could get some refills. Yeah, so definitely I would recommend some Korean food. Next up, Seoul is a city that is extremely safe. Now, I don't want to give you this utopian ideal that Korea is the perfect place and has no problems, because we all know that nowhere is perfect and everywhere has their problems. But compared to countries in Europe and even the United States, I think that Korea is extremely safe. I never felt concerned about being maybe mugged or even being scammed. You might get scammed when you're on holiday in some foreign countries. However, I never had this feeling, and even a lot of my female friends, they were never concerned about walking around late at night, even on their own. They just didn't have this kind of paranoid feeling you might feel in other countries. Overall, it was just an extremely safe country. If you don't want to take my word for it, Korea is actually ranked really high in the world rankings for safety, so yeah. Overall, it's just a pro to Korea. Next up, I want to talk about traveling. Korea can be a great stepping stone to travel around the rest of Asia. Obviously, the biggest cost is actually getting to Korea, getting to Asia. It costs from Dublin about €500, about, I don't know, $600 to get to Korea from Dublin. However, once I was there, I was able to do a little bit of traveling, so I went around some neighboring countries. I went to Japan, Taiwan, Hong Kong, and even Vietnam as well. I was kind of surprised how cheap the flights were, especially if you're willing to travel at kind of strange times in the middle of the night. So just shop around and you can get some good deals. So I was really shocked. I don't come from a rich family. I funded the trip all by myself, and actually the money that I was saving on things such as food and nights out, I was able to put towards holidays. So I kind of was pleasantly surprised how much I was able to travel as well when I was over in Korea. So yeah. Just a word of warning before you go and do any traveling. I would do some research on a thing called an ARC card, an Alien Registration Card, and this card is required if you're on a student visa and you want to leave the country and come back in without any problems. This card, everybody needs it, and it can take up a month to apply for this or to receive it. So I would apply for this as soon as you land in Korea on your student visa, and make sure you get it early so you can book your flights away, and then you can do some traveling. But just do some research on this card before you do book any flights. Honestly, I have to say, one of the best parts about going to college in Korea was the international buddy program they have in the colleges. In Seoul National University, that's where I went, they have this program called SNU Buddy. And basically you get paired with a local Korean buddy, and you also get put into a group with other international students. Then the Korean buddies, they organise various activities, nights out, and even day trips, and they really just make you feel at home, and you just make some friends for life. Honestly, without this program, my time in Korea would have been completely different. You get to meet people from all over the world, and you really get to experience Korean culture at first hand with actual Koreans. I'm sure that other colleges as well, I've heard that they have similar programs such as Jone or Korean University, but obviously SNU Buddy is the best. But yeah, just make sure you do some more research on this and find out more about these buddy programs before you select which college you want to go to and see if that is available. So yeah. Next up, I just wanted to talk about the language barrier. A lot of people may worry about the language barrier when going on exchange to a foreign country, and they might let something simple such as not speaking the language or speaking the language fluently stop them from going to a country. They might think, oh, I can't go there, I don't speak the language well enough. Well, I'm happy to say that in Korea you do not have to be able to speak Korean, or you can speak very little Korean. I personally cannot speak Korean. I went there maybe knowing only maybe 2 words, 안녕하세요 and 감사합니다. That was about it. I did learn some words when I was over there, which was great, but I never really grasped it fully, the language. I can't speak fluently, still I cannot. So yeah, you can just learn some words as you go. You will be fine, do not worry. Even I was surprised in university, a lot of younger people can actually speak English. They might be a little bit nervous with speaking English, but just yeah, it's absolutely fine. Even in the pubs and the restaurants you can get by fine. Just learn some maybe basic words, just be respectful, and they will be so respectful back to you. You can just point at things and say "이거 주세요" when you're asking for food or drink, and yeah, you'll be absolutely fine. Just know the basics, very few words, and you will be absolutely fine. And finally, I just wanted to make the point that just generally the Korean people are just so lovely, so kind and welcoming. As a foreigner, you always kind of feel this kind of anxiety where will I fit in? You're kind of scared about the cultural difference, if they're going to treat you differently as a foreigner. However, in Korea, people are just so nice. They're almost the opposite. They're almost over welcoming, and they're making sure that you feel safe, making sure that you feel welcome. So I had some great experience in Korea as a foreigner. I know maybe you might get some kind of strange looks, but you are a different person in their environment, especially in the country. You might get some kind of weird looks, so they're not used to seeing foreigners in maybe that area. So yeah, just be mindful of that. It's the same with anywhere in the world. If you give respect, you'll get respect. So just overall, the Korean people are just top notch. Thanks for watching today's video, guys. Make sure to like, subscribe, and if you're new to the channel, go check out some of my other content. I hope you enjoyed, and stay safe. Have a lovely day. Bye.